light up our phones too. Oh, here's some buzzing. There goes mine. So we are on now. All right, so it is time to get started here. Welcome everybody, and then welcome people on Periscope. I'm Mike Bennett. You're at a Save10 meeting Tuesday night here in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm going to try to talk loud so that hopefully people from Periscope or on Periscope can hear what I'm saying. I'll be the first to tell you that my strength is not necessarily sitting up here in front of you guys talking about this. I've got strengths. Usually they're hidden in my office and we get to work with those later. But anyway, so that's why we started talking tonight about maybe getting some of you guys up here very, very soon. And I know people out there would love to see you, and I know we do a lot for this group. We do a lot for your individual groups as well. But we're here to talk about Save10. Coming up on our 1-year anniversary, if you can believe that. And I want to talk about that a little later. That's what I kind of finish up with, about that 1-year anniversary and kind of what that means to me and what I think it could mean to all of us. But we're going to talk about Save10. Tell me if I get out of camera view there, Alex. Our purpose this evening is to do this. We want to share with you what Save10's about. We want to share with you the expansion plans we have, how we're planning on growing Save10, and we want to share with you how that can be mutually beneficial. Obviously, I'm going to be a little selfish. I want it to benefit our company. But as you'll see as we get through this, I really am more interested in helping you. I think if it helps you, you know that old saying, you help somebody else get what they want to get, you're going to what is the word I'm looking for? Eventually, that's it. I kept saying individually. See, I told you I'm not necessarily great at this, right? Eventually, you'll get what you want. So I think you'll see that after we get here. But I know this as well. Well, let's talk about this. Our mission statement: we exist to create value by connecting loyal customers and trustworthy businesses in a mutually beneficial manner. Now, we talked about value. Value, I want you to realize, I understand this. Value is, there's a definition, the relative worth or usefulness of something. Since value is relative, what I may find has value, you may not find have value, and vice versa, right? So I know what you're here to do tonight. Some of you are brand new to Save10. Some of you aren't even in Save10 yet. Some of you have been with us for the entire first year. But I know, especially for those of you who are looking for the first time, you're coming here to evaluate this. Otherwise, you wouldn't take a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock to sit down and do that. I wouldn't, unless I was here to go, okay, what is this about? So I'm going to help us here. I'm going to help you. The evaluation criteria I want you to use tonight are 3 things. The first thing I want you to do is evaluate whether our product is something you can benefit from. Okay? Our product's very, very simple. All right, you get a little panning going a little bit. Second thing is I want you to evaluate how easily understood our expansion plan is. Is it something that you can understand? Is it something that's smart and simple? That's our tagline. The third thing is I want you to evaluate your role in what I've shown you, and do you qualify? Our purpose is this. We're trying to find qualified individuals, and we'll explain more about that in a little bit as well. Here's our product, guys. It's real simple. Our product is incredibly simple. It's a phone app. We've developed a phone app that will help. You remember that first thing I told you what our mission kind of is to bring loyal customers and trustworthy businesses. Well, that phone app does exactly that. And it's basically something you download for free. You can download it on the iPhone, the App Store. You can download it on Google Play. If you don't even have that, if you just have a Windows, if you have a browser on your phone, you can actually get to it through that. You can use it on any smartphone you have. And what it does is it will put in front of you, wherever you are in the entire United States and Puerto Rico, it will give you a list of merchants, those trustworthy businesses we've talked about, that would like to have your business. Right? And what this app allows you to do is save money, short and simple. And it's allowed people to save a lot of money. Dennis may even be on Periscope tonight. We talked yesterday actually. First 3 weeks he saved $127 with the app. First 3 weeks. He's fired up. I'm looking at Marcus White right here in the front, second row. I know in March you saved roughly $85.
No, at March at 85.
Yeah. What do you do in April?
202.
202. So in 2 months you saved almost $300 with this app. I save money with this app. My wife and I save money with this app every single week, sometimes daily. And that's what we have, is that product. And if you use our product, if you use it, you will save enough money to more than pay for what the cost of that app is. So that's the second part of this, is our app is not a free app. Well, our app's free to download. Our membership to the app is $10 a month. Now, why do we do that? I'll tell you why we do that. We've looked at models where things are free. The typical model in this type of environment is businesses will give something away for free to consumers. You've seen it in restaurants. Text 1, 2, 3, 4, or text dessert to 1, 2, 3, and 4 and get a free piece of pie at the end of your meal, right? What they're doing is they're collecting all that data about you, about your phone. They're giving permission for them to communicate with you. They'll take all that data and go to a big group of merchants once they get a big enough pile of it and say, look what we have. We have all this stuff. Would you like to be in front of these guys? Merchants usually say, yeah, we're trying to reach people. So they'll fork out money and pay for it and then hopefully get us to go shop there. And we typically do for a little bit until the next free app comes along. And then we get suckered into doing that one because we want a dessert not there. We want the free sandwich at that place or the free drink, and we'll get that second app. Until that one loses its glitter, then we go do another one. Last week I pointed out on my phone, I counted before we started the meeting, I had 77 apps on my phone. 77 apps on my phone. And I don't like to download apps. I don't know how they got there. As I look through them, I'm going, okay, I can remember vaguely why I did this, but I don't use them. I absolutely don't use them. Somebody spent a lot of money developing those apps. Companies spend a lot of money advertising through those apps. I don't even look at them. So here's our premise. Our premise is we know from a personal standpoint, we've seen it in the marketplace. If somebody pays a little bit for something, they value it. I told you the story last week about a good friend of mine that gives away the lifetime oil changes. Remember that? He gives away he's an auto mechanic. He said, I've got this deal. You spend X number of dollars, $250 one time, and I'll change your oil for the life of your car. And if you trade the car in, we'll change your oil every 3 months for the life of that car. If you trade that in, we keep doing lifetime oil changes for $250 a year. Great deal, right? You know what he started out doing, charging for that when he first did the program? He was giving it away. He was giving it away. And I said, well, what happened? He said, nobody took me up on it. They didn't value it. He had to put a price on it. Then people said, well, maybe there's something worthwhile. Then they bought it. He said, now I've got an entire business model built around something that was free, but now I charge for it and people use it. That's our premise, right? The cool thing about this is if you spend $10 a month for our app membership and you use it, you will save more than $10 a month. And I've given you 2 examples. On 27 in 3 weeks, Mark has saved almost $300 in 2 months. I know of a guy in Little Rock that saved $900 in one purchase. Okay? That's our product. So as you look through the rest of this, think to yourself, and believe me, and I'll show you, we can show you, I can show you the stores. There's over 200,000 merchants nationwide and in Puerto Rico that will honor the app. Now, as a side note, we'll go on. So that's our product, right? So our opportunity. The second criteria. We have to let people know about this product. I mean, merchants see it and they absolutely love it. Robert was at Riviera Maya today, 2 locations in Little Rock that he signed up, and they love the idea of having our Save10 customers come and eat at their restaurant. They love it. So we're trying to figure out how do we get this in the hands, we figured it out. How do we get this in the hands of the consumer? And we looked at, and we're still looking, we're looking at all avenues, right? Could we go with social media, which is big, right? Could we go with Google search words? Could we go with radio and television? Could we go with an infomercial? Could we go with print ads? What if we blanketed a community with direct mail? Could we sell them? And we could. That's the way people develop businesses now. You've all seen that stuff, right? You get it in your mailbox, you get it hung on your door, you see it on your TV, and you listen to it on your radio. That's the way. There's several avenues, but that's one conventional way of doing it. What we've chosen to do is this. I told you our product cost is $10 a month. We've chosen to set aside our advertising dollars, if you will, or our marketing dollars, and be very strategic and very smart with that, and give it back to people who talk about us. That's as simple as it gets. So 8 out of every $10 that Save10 collects, we set aside to pay distributors, which is why some of you are sitting in this room tonight, some of you are watching there. We pay distributors a commission for simply sharing the concept with their family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues. And if those people can see the value on their phone in their market and they purchase the membership, then we pay a commission to them. Now, the commission is simply this. It's a 10% commission. So if you share this concept and one of your friends or your family buys a subscription to Save10, next month we'll pay you a $1 commission, 10%. If they renew it next month, we'll pay you a 10% commission again. If they renew it for 100 months in a row, we'll pay you a 10% commission for 100 months in a row. That's where one of the dollars goes. Now, I've held out 8. So here's the way this works now. So let's say that the person that you shared this with said, you know what, you're making a commission, how can I make a commission? Well, they're tied to you by a membership number. If they in turn go and share it with their friends, family, and colleagues, and one of them buys a membership to the Save10 app, we'll pay them $1. But since you are the one that started that process, when that person buys it for $10, we've kept out 8, we'll pay $1 to him and $1 to you. We've used up 2 of the 8. If you follow the thinking here, it simply goes, we keep track through 8 people. And when the person at the end of that line buys a Save10 membership for $10, we take out 8 of it, and we'll pay 8 people $1 a piece. Not a lot of money, right? In fact, a lot of people have told me that, man, it's $1. It's $1. Well, first of all, you haven't done much yet, right? But the second thing is this, and you've heard me say this, and I know it gets old, but I'll say it again. I guarantee, I don't care. I know for me, if I walk out to my car to get in my car tonight, and there's a dollar bill laying on the ground, I'm going to pick it up. Honestly, if there's a penny laying on the ground, I'm going to pick it up. If there's a dime especially, right, Mary Jane? I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick up the buck. You guys are cracking me up this last week. They texted me in the middle of the week. They said, we're driving down University, or where was it? Markham, some street. And they said, we just thought of you. We saw a dollar bill floating across the street. Because I've said, if a gust of wind comes up when I bend down to get that buck and it goes underneath my car, I will be on my hands and knees reaching underneath my car to pick up that dollar. And they're right. If it blew across the parking lot, I would chase it.
We were looking for
$1's a buck, right? Well, here's the cool thing. Is we set aside 8, so we'll keep track through 8 people. If you wanted to sell 1,000 memberships yourself, then you would have earned yourself $1,000 a month commission. If you could sell 10,000 yourself, you could earn a $10,000 a month commission. If you sell 10 a month, you earn a $10. It's just simple math. As many as you sell, you're going to get paid $1 for the life of the membership as it's renewed, right? Now, that's one way, and we have people doing that. We have people looking for large groups. They're presenting to them. We put together some sales materials, and Roy, they're looking at it. And we're talking about large groups. I mean, here's what Roy sees, right? Roy sees if they got a membership base of 80,000, it's worth a few visits to go see if we can sell memberships to that group, right? It's very much worth it. And that's a great plan. So that's one way. And there are literally thousands of groups like that out there. And we've had it set up as a fundraiser. We can discuss that after the meeting. But here's the way we built this. And this is the part I want you to understand. Because everybody, the first thing I'm going to tell you is if I say we want you to sell them all yourself, what are you going to tell me? I run out of time and energy, right? You will. Guarantee you will. So here's what we've done. We've set up a program by which a distributor can build a sales team. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is you've all seen stuff like this. And if you haven't seen stuff like this, you will see stuff like this before you die, at least once. And we've all seen it. They're usually tied to some sort of skincare. And again, I'm not trying to be derogatory here because we've bought some of the stuff and we've loved some of the stuff. But it's usually tied to soap, skincare, vitamins, juices, stuff that you have to be convinced that you need before you'll buy it at usually a very high cost. So there's enough profits in it so that you think you can make some money. Well, I'm going to show you this plan, but our product's not like this. Our product is, and Renee always tells me, you have to mention the stores. Let me tell you the product. Anybody ever buy a Papa John's pizza? Right? Anybody ever get a Jiffy Lube oil change? Anybody shop at JCPenney's? Has anybody been to an NBA game? Anybody been bowling? Anybody buy shoes? What's the one? What's that? Sorry. Oh, manicures? Yeah, my manicures? Yeah, all this. I mean, if that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And we're talking about merchants in your market that you know and trust already, right? So here's the deal. You've seen things like this, but here's how our plan works. So you can sell as many as you would like by yourself, and you also have the option of building a team. We use the example of one person talking to another distributor. I want to show you an example. If you found 4 people that said, you know what, I could use a little bit more income. Honestly, I've never talked to anybody that's told me I could never use. If I've asked them, could you use more income, I never have got a no, I really don't want any more, right? So everybody, I think, is a prospect on this. So let's say you're looking for 4. So I told you we keep track through 8. So if you're at the top there and you find 4 individuals that say, I would like to be a distributor. So they come as a distributor. And by the way, I told you the product cost is $10 a month, right? $120 a year. If you use the product, we buy pizza for our family at least once a month at Papa John's or Domino's or a variety of others, and we usually save almost all $10 in one purchase, just so you know. All right. So these people are distributors and they're also customers. So here we go. This would be you. The first month, if you did that, you found 4 people, your commission would be $4. Now, let's say that you spent all of your time talking to those 4 people, encouraging them that it's worthwhile to learn how to do this. And again, it's not necessarily hard. This is a simple concept. But we teach those 4 to go out and find 4 of their own. So the next month, each one of these people on your level 1 goes out and they find 4 themselves. Simple math, what's their commission next month? It's $4. Now you found 4, and those 4 have each found 4. What's your commission next month? It's $20. Because we're keeping $8. It's going to go through 8 levels of this. This is where I sometimes glaze over it too much, but it is very, very simple. We're just going to do math times 4 throughout this thing. If those 16 on the second level each find 4 in that 3rd month, and if they did that, and I'm going to use the word if. Let me stop here real quick. I'm going to use the word if. This whole concept, if you've seen it, and you show it to the wrong person, what do they tell you? Pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme. This is the, what are you doing? I can't believe you're showing me this. This never works, right? Type thing, right? And they'll usually say, well, all you're trying to do is show me a get rich quick, right? Well, I'm not going to promise you're going to make a dime out of this. It's all going to depend on you. Just so you hear me clearly say that. So I'm not going to give you big dollar. I'm going to show you some big people figures. If you know the commission is $1 a month per anybody in your group, you're going to understand how to do the math. But again, I'm not promising anybody in this room or on Periscope or my wife or even me that anybody's going to just tear this thing up and make $1 billion out of it, just so we're clear. We want to be above that. This is a legitimate business. It has legitimate merit. The product is substantial, and the numbers actually work. So in this example, and this is purely an example, I'm going to show you in a perfect scenario what would happen. We'll back off of that in a bit. If level 2 people, 16 of them, each find 4, on your 3rd level, there's a potential for 64 people. Each of these people would make that month a $4 commission because they've only found 4. All you found is 4 at this point. These people actually would be up at that $20 commission, and you would have 84 people in your group. If it filled out, and if it did that, your commission would be $84. Let's go one more step. 4th level, right? If these 64 found 4, if they found 4, 256 there. These people all make 4, 20, 84, you're up to 340 a month on commissions at this point, if they found 4. Now, people ask me, what happens if I find 5? What happens if I find 10? Let me back that up real quick. Let's say you found 20 your first month. Let's say you did all 20 your first month. Your first 4 are going to fall here. Our computer goes, he has no more on his front line, so it's going to find the next available spot. It's going to see, is there anybody in the 2nd level yet? It's going to plug the first one, the 5th one in there, the 6th one, 7th one, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It's going to find the weakest position in your group and place them, and it'll fill all 20 just like that. So you can find as many as you want, but we're talking about 4, right? So level 4, we got to 340 people in your group. If you do the math, 340 times $1 commission each is $340 a month. Now, level 5 would be this. It would be 1,024 of 256 found for each. Level 6, potential of 4,096 people in your group. Level 7, potential of 16,384. Level 8, a potential of 65,536. If we do the math, cumulative total of your entire group, there's 87,380 potential spots in your group. We've talked about $1 commission per membership sold within that organization. Your commission, you can figure that out, right? Now, that's about as hard as this gets. It honestly is. You can find less people, you can find more people. I use a scenario, if this happened in a month, in 1 month at a time, if you could find 4 in a month. Anybody think they could find 4 in a month? Yeah, I've seen people do it. Anybody think they could? What if it took you a year? Let's just be real true. What if it took a year to find 4? And this happened not in 8 months, but in 8 years. And this is all you were able to do in 8 years. It's not a bad retirement, right? What if it happened in 8 days? I mean, we had the group in Atlanta that put in 104, 105 in 1 weekend, right? So here's the deal, though. That's about as hard as the numbers work. The only thing I'm going to tell you, the only other requirement we have for you is this. You can earn all of this commission, we'll give you a little ramp-up time here, simply by recruiting and finding other people that are distributors. Either an associate. Have I told you the cost of that? $24 a year to be an associate. That's what that costs. We'll talk about a director in a bit. If you want to earn commissions on level 5, I'm going to use that dirty 4-letter word, you have to sell one product. I mean, it's a sales business, right? This is what we're doing. We're moving product and services through an organization of people. You sell one of these, which means somebody will buy the product based on the product's merit. They'll have to look at like a Men's Warehouse discount and say 40%. I can say 40% at Men's Warehouse? Yeah, you can. So they'll say, well, why wouldn't I do this? I don't know why you wouldn't do it. And they'll say, well, I don't necessarily want to do that. I'll buy the product. That's one. If you want to earn commissions on level 6, you have to find 2, level 7, 3, level 8, 4, and maintain those 4. That's as much pure sales, if you even want to call it sales, as you have to do. What we're finding is we put this app in front of people, they're saying, my goodness, where'd you get all these stores? Now here's the thing. I told you we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. We started out with about 50 stores. 50 stores in Central Arkansas. In 1 year, we've grown from that to over 200,000 in every metropolitan area. And even, well, I think if I look right, we're about 98% of the counties in this country are covered in Puerto Rico. Had a great meeting yesterday again with our Puerto Rico group down there, and they're really starting to get going down there. So we've gone from 50 to over 200,000 in really about a year. We're not done. We're just getting started. Robert added 2 more today, which are in great restaurants. That's the one right there at Fair Park, right at 630, right? I've always thought they need to be in. That's incredible. Where can we be in 1 more year? If things grow exponentially, we won't be at 400,000. Maybe we'll be at 800,000 or 900,000. Product cost, what's it done in the year? You guys who started last June, what was the product cost per month? It was $10 a month, right? Well, we have exponentially increased your opportunity. What's our product cost then? Stayed exactly the same. What's going to happen if we go from 200,000 to 1 million stores? No reason to raise the price. See what I'm saying? So to sell 4 of these and maintain 4, it's going to just take a little bit of effort. Now, this number we talk about, let me see my slide there. This number we talk about, 87,380. Let's talk about your best friend from high school who's more content watching American Idol than they are doing anything else. Let's talk about them when they see this and they go, well, that's just unbelievable. It won't work. How are you going to find 87,380 people? Well, again, we're talking about you finding 4 and training those 4 to find 4. But let's say we miss this number. Let's say we work hard and it happens in 8 months and we miss it by 90% and we only hit 10% of what our potential is in this. And instead of 87,380, you have 8,700 people in your group. And you're only earning $1 a piece off of 8,700 people in your group. Would anybody complain about that? Could you figure out what to do with an additional $8,700 a month? Now, some people will still be skeptical. Let's say we miss it by 99%. You do 1% of what the potential of this is. Just 1%. And at the end of 8 months, you've only generated 870 distributors in your group who are buying product, and your commission's only $870 a month. You found 4 in this example. You found 4. You haven't had to quit a job. You haven't had to buy a storefront. You haven't to go down and get a business license. Haven't had to do a ton of advertising at all. You may have a set of business cards, but you found 4, and you miss it by 99%. You're making $870 a month. Would that help anybody in this room? It would help me. I'll back it up one more. It'd be really absurd. We miss it by 99.9%. We spend 8 months. We're only getting 1/10 of 1% of our efforts, and all your commission ends up being is $87 a month after 8 months. Now, $87, not a lot of money, right? It is in our house. It pays a gas bill. It does a lot of things. Here's the other question I'm going to ask you. All we've asked so far from our distributors is a product costs us $10 a month to save money at places you're already shopping, first of all, and $24 a year to be an associate. $2 a month is what that equates to. If you're making $87 a month, can you justify $12 a month in expenses? Has anybody else been in any other multi-level businesses or similar businesses like this, right? Anybody, and I'm sure there has in this room, I'm going to ask. I know there are people after 8 months who are making $87 a month. Most don't. Most don't. Most don't get into business like this for, first of all, for $24 on their first month and $10 for their first product cost either. They just don't. I don't even like to count the product costs because, again, if you use it, you can save your $10. So let's just talk about the $24. So miss it by 99.9%, get through 8 months, you're only making $87 a month, and it costs you $2 a month to do the business. Anybody going to complain? Now here's the cool thing. Right now, we have people that are not, some people that are making $1 a month. Right now, they're just getting started, right? We have people that are making $700 a month right now after 1 year. We've barely got moving. What's the potential once we get this thing really going, right? Brings us to the last slide. We'll stop here. Define qualified individuals is what our goal is, and that was one of your criteria, is you guys qualify for this. What does it mean, do you qualify for this? I didn't ask anybody to bring a resume. Didn't ask you to come dressed in a suit and tie, none of that stuff, right? What we mean by qualified is this, is if you can, and here's the good news is, if you're finding interest in this, you've already hit a huge thing in my book, being qualified by showing up here tonight and taking a chance, trusting a friend, come and sit down and listen to this thing, right? That's a huge thing in my book. But the other qualification is this, is what's going to happen when you go home and you show it to your spouse, or you talk to your best friend, or you call your brother, your brother-in-law, and they challenge you on this. Is your dream big enough to at least call me back or call your sponsor back, the person invited, saying, listen, I've been asked this question, well, how would you answer that? Is your dream big enough for that? Do you have a reason to use either $87, $870, $8,700, $87,000 a month? Do you have a reason you can do that? And if you do, honestly, you're qualified. We can teach you everything else. This is not it's not a difficult business. You don't have to learn anything about the FDA. You don't have to make any claims about, well, they say it's really for weight loss, but we can't say that. You don't have to say any of that stuff. It's like you buy pizza, you can save some money. You buy tires, you can save some money. Do you shop for anything in this country, you can probably save your money. That's what we're talking about. So if you do that and you have a dream or desire, you qualify. Now, I've said this before in our meetings. They say that most men, I'll throw in just everybody, most people die at age 24. It takes another 60 to 70 years to bury them. Right? Anybody been around people like that? You know, you've worked with them. You listen, I'm going to tell you, I've been that guy. The point is this, I mean, by the time you get out of college, by the time you get your first job, which you took for less money you thought you should have taken it, but you did it just to get your foot in the door, and by the time they don't give you any credit for the things you actually do for the company, by the time you ask for that second raise, they give you the first one because they built that into the package. By the time you ask for that second, you get denied, and then somebody else beats you out of the promotion. And then they're asking you for 60 hours a week, not 40, like they said. By the time you hit 25, 26, 27, I got there quick. I was discouraged. And I started packing away the dreams. I remember us taking walks through our neighborhood. And we live in we've been blessed. It's a small house, but a nice little neighborhood. We would walk just about a mile down and over, and we were walking in front of, big homes, 3,500, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet homes. And we would talk. When we were first married, talk about what it's going to be like if we bought a house like that. You get beat up enough? I remember the conversation. We were walking down some of the streets, And my wife would look at me and says, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. It just is discouraging to me. Maybe we won't ever get here. What if we won't be able to do this? We're in our 20s, right? So for me, when I talk about looking for qualified individuals, I'm serious as a heart attack. I told you I'm not the best at doing this, but I'll tell you what I am good at. I'm good at trying to figure out a vision for a company. I'm good at taking ideas, and I'm good at internalizing those ideas, and then I'm good at busting my butt to make them happen. I'm telling you, first year, how many business owners we have in the room? There's several, I'm sure, right? Yeah, it's rough. Well, let me tell you, this has been rough. Our first year's been rough. I am thrilled where we are, but it's been a rough first year. There's been opportunity to quit. You guys have experienced this in this room. If you've been with us for a year, you have thought, even if you don't admit it, you've thought maybe this isn't for me, maybe I should quit. Most people do quit. Qualified people don't quit. Especially when we're talking about $24 to get started. And again, I don't even want to count the $120, the $10 a month, because if you use it, you'll save it. Just flat out, if you use it, you'll save it. But even if you didn't, what other business do you know you can get in for $144 a year and have the potential, if you miss it by 99.9%, making $87 a month? That's what we have. Now, let's see what else I have. Is that it? We're kind of done. That's kind of the presentation, right? Our product has done nothing but grown over the first year. We've had our bumps. We've had our bruises. I've heard companies like this in the technology field, in whatever sales we want to call this field, takes a couple, 3 years to get going. I am thrilled we're a third of the way through it if it does take that long. Cool thing is, it may not. We're 4 people away. Any of us are 4 people away from this thing happening in the next 2 or 3 months. We really are. I had a guy, I'm going to steal his thunder. Dennis, if you're watching, I'm sorry. But I had a guy call me yesterday. He was fired up. He texted me and said, I got to tell you a story if you have time. So I called him. It took me all day to get to him, but I called him. Called him actually, Mary Jane, after I left our little meeting. He said, I got to tell you about this guy that came into my store today. He owns a body shop. So the guy came in with a car, and he said it wasn't a great car. And anyway, we talked about, so we got around to just making money. And I had never met this guy. And he said, by the time we finished talking, I asked him what he did, and he said it had something to do with some technology stuff. Anyway, we got talking about the app, and I showed him the Save10 app. And he said, this is interesting. He said, this is duplicatable. He said, this is a product everybody can use. This is affordable. He said, this is pretty incredible. And Dennis looked at him and said, yeah, it is. He said, I'm getting ready to go out of town on a vacation. He said, I'll get back with you as soon as I get back in town. Dennis said, here you go, man. Here's my card. Here's where you go look. Watch the videos. When you get back in town, call me. I was going on a cruise, I think, or something like that. He said it wasn't like 36 hours. The guy was in a cab on the way to the boat. I said, all right, I've already talked to my friend here in Corpus Christi. He said he's in. And he said, I need to get in now. I've watched all the videos. I'm fired up about this. He said, by the way, we looked at the location down here. He said, you guys only know you have one guy here in Corpus Christi at this point? And so Dennis is thinking, oh no, this guy has an objection. How am I going to answer this? It wasn't an objection. That guy said, I am fired up. There's only one guy down here. He said, this is incredible. He woke up yesterday morning not knowing that guy was going to stumble into his office. He wasn't even looking for him. And now he's got a very fired up person with one person in his group. You're 4 people away from changing your life. You really are. That 2 to 3 year plan everybody tells me it may take, it may not. I hope it doesn't, but you know what? If it does, it's not a big deal to me. I'll end with this, because we're really doing pretty good on time, right? I'm really getting it cleaned up here. We good? Here's what I'll end up with, because last week we talked about the guy that had the article, if you weren't here, talked about the article of how he failed in a business like this, and he gave reasons why, and it was very inspirational to me of what he did to fix that. Here's what I want to talk to you about tonight. Some of you know I coach basketball. I coach a junior varsity, help coach a junior varsity team and coach a varsity team of boys basketball. And very competitive group of guys, very talented group of guys. We've had guys move on and play in college and such, so it's a good group of guys. Last year, in January, we went to a game against a private school here in Little Rock, and I didn't know what the game was going to be like. We hadn't played well up until that point. We had our moments. We weren't gelling real good as a team. They weren't listening really good. And so we get to that court, and I'm sitting there in the locker room before we go out in the court, and I have a whiteboard, and I basically said, you know what, people, here's what I want to do. Guys, I want to redefine what winning means for us right now. I said, I really honestly don't care if we walk off this floor with more points on the board than they have. I just don't care. I said, I want to win, mind you, but I really don't care. It's not my goal anymore. And it got quiet in the room at this point. It wasn't just typically the rah-rah stuff. And I wrote up on the board 4 things. And they all had to do with intensity, had to do with stuff we'd been working on in practice they hadn't been doing. Like at 85-15 was one of the things. So 85-15, I went 85% passing, 15% dribbling. Tired of this one-on-one stuff. I said, if you want to stay on the floor tonight, then I need to see you passing the ball. Now, if you get an opportunity to drive, take it, but I want to see you passing the ball. If you don't do that, you're going to sit. I said, defense. I need 100% effort on defense. Some of you guys walk back. You get beat on this end. You're at half court while they're making a block. I need you back on defense. If you don't make it back on defense, you're going to sit. He said, another thing, too, I keep telling you to get your arms up and talk on defense. If I don't hear you talking, you're going to sit. I said, and it's not going to be an angry thing at you. I'm just telling you, I don't care anymore. We're going to build this. And I said, we were shooting for, we didn't, we're a small group of guys. We're a young group of guys. The group we play, it's a homeschool league, right? People hear homeschool, they think, uh-oh, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, I've coached against guys that are in the NBA now. I've coached guys that are big Division I schools, North Carolina. What's it? Justin Jackson. I've had to coach 2 games against him. So I'm talking about high-level ball, right? So I told the guys, we're shooting for March was our national tournament. I said, we've been playing for this, but I said, I don't want you to believe me. We can do that. I'm not sure I believe that yet either. We're small and we're young. So I said, we're in January. That's March. I said, I'm redefining what winning means for us for the rest of this season. We have our state tournament, we have our regional, we have our national. I still want to win, win, and win if we can. But I said, this is not our goal anymore. Our goal is March 2017. I'm going to kick us out a year. And I said, I want 85-15. I want 100% effort on defense. I want to hear talking, and I want to see you guys gel together as a team and play good basketball. And I said, and by the time we get 2017 March, you're going to have some size, you're going to have some maturity, and I think we can take it then. I think we can compete then and be on that big floor. It's a big, what's the name of the school up there? Missouri State up in Springfield, Missouri. It's a Missouri Valley Conference Division I ball. That game, the championship game's played on that floor. I said, I think we can be on that floor. And they bought into it. And would you know the best game we had all last season was that game in January against Southwest Christian? I don't even remember if we won. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But they bought into it. And we had a really good end of the season. We didn't finish where we probably could have, but they started gelling as a team. Now here's the cool thing, is since that point, we ended our season middle of March. We don't typically start till September. These guys have been in the gym in April with a trainer twice a week and practice once a week. Some of them are playing AAU ball on top of it. Monday, Tuesday, Friday mornings, and soon to be Wednesday and Thursday, I'm in the gym with them at 6 a.m. And these are high school boys, 17, 18-year-old boys busting their butt. Now, why are they doing it? It gets back to this qualification thing. This is my point. This is stop here. They're doing it because when they had unrealistic goals and expectations of themselves, they didn't care. It was easy enough just to go play, and they could make excuses at the end of the game of why we didn't win. They could blame somebody else, and they could walk off, come to practice, screw around in practice, and not have a solid dream. But we got them focused on a dream which is attainable, and it was cool. At the year-end party, we talked about not what's our goal. Our goal is to win that game. That was part of it, but they're talking about how's it going to feel with my 6 seniors when that final buzzer goes off. We got to talking about what's it going to feel like for you. Who are you going to be looking up in the stands? Who are you going to be looking at? Who are you going to hug first? What's it going to be like when I had the seniors, when we call the last time out there, or I sub in the 5 young guys for you guys to walk off? What's that going to feel like? And at the end of that little team party, it was real quiet that night too. At the end of that little team party, my starting point guard said, Coach, I haven't stopped to think about what it smells like, what it looks like, what it's going to feel like. He caught a vision. He's worked hard. He's got a chance to play Division I ball. He's worked hard. all through his high school career, but he is working 2 or 3 times as hard now as he ever has for this senior year. And why? Because all of a sudden he got another 6 inches, another 50 pounds? You know, no, none of that. He says, I want to be on that floor, coach. And he's also said this, if I'm not on that floor, doesn't matter. That's my goal. I'm working for that. And if I don't get that, then I know all the stuff I'm going to gain by the time I work to get there is going to be incredibly valuable to me. So my point's this, and we'll stop. We've really done good tonight, I think, 45 minutes. My point's this, qualification for me, and is simply this: can you dream to that level? It takes effort. It takes guts to dream to that level. I've talked about putting a slide up with had the 5 things: bigger house, nicer, newer car, vacation, time with the family, retirement. And if I did put those things up, you would know what the question was. What are things you dream about, right? But you have to figure out, what's the house smell like? Not smell like. It should smell good. What's the house look like? What size is it? What's the veneer? Is it a 3-car garage? Is it a 2-car garage? Vacations. It's not I just want to travel more. I want to go here, and I want to stay here, and I want to do this while I'm there. Time with the family. That's vague. That's incredibly vague. I want to spend more time with my kids. Well, who doesn't? You'd be a pretty rotten parent if you didn't say that, right? But if you can tell me, if you had an extra hour this week, what you would do with your kids, then I'm thinking there's a man who cares about his kids. That's what we're talking about. So we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. We're 4 people away. You're 4 people away from changing your life. For me, for this company, for Save10 and the vision I have for it, if it doesn't happen next month, I don't care. I've seen so much happen in a year. Hey, listen, if it takes another year, big deal. This is big. This has the potential of being as big as any other technology company or app company out there. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. If it takes 2 more years, where can we be, right? Doesn't matter. I don't think it will. But what I'm looking for right now is for people to go, I'm pumped about the first year. We've been talking to Mary Jane. Mary Jane's got some great ideas about a party, which we need to have. We need to have a birthday party next month in June. So we're planning that. I want you all to come. And I want to celebrate what you've done for us and where we're going. All right? So I'll just open up for a few questions. Anybody got any questions tonight? We'll end this thing. Yes, sir.
What is Save10? How did you come to the Save10?
As far as the name or
yes,
the
sir.
concept?
Is that savings 10%?
Savings 10%. We started out the company with the idea that every merchant that came on board with us would give a minimum of 10% discount.
Minimum. Okay.
Right. And it would be on every purchase, every time. As long as you didn't have to bring a coupon, you couldn't stack deals, but that was the concept. Now, honestly, I knew that at some point we would want to open it up for other deals. Well, we just happened to open up for other deals sooner than we thought we would. Where now you'll have companies that'll say buy one, get one, or save $5 off if you spend 25 or more. So the name Save10, we've actually backed that into other things now. You can save for $10 a month. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of things people are coming up with that, but that's where the name came from originally. Now, we do have several merchants who will give a flat 10% discount. It's simple math. You spend $10, you save $1. But there are some who are giving 40%. There are some who are giving, gosh, buy one, get one's a 50% discount, right? So there's some really good deals out there, but that's where that came from. Anybody else have thoughts or questions? Any of our leaders? Mary Jane, any thoughts you have you want to share with anybody at all? Thank you. Well, wasn't fishing for that. I'll tell you though, Mary Jane is, she's got a group that we were talking yesterday. We had a great meeting yesterday. Her group's just blown out of her 8th level. It's just way down there. And there's a bunch of people in that group, and she's doing it right. And the cool thing about what Mary Jane and I talked about yesterday, if you don't mind me sharing this, she said, there's a lot of companies people will point at and go, well, that's one of those networking MLM companies. Well, there's some aspects of that, right? Mary Jane said, you know, I wasn't a multi-level person when I started in this. I had no desire to be in one. But this is different. To me, this is a sales organization that allows normal people the opportunity to get into an occupation, potential full-time occupation if they wanted to do it, where they can actually make some decent money. So I'm just thankful for what you've built. You've got a great team. You've got a great thing going. Anybody else? Yes, sir, Bernard.
So, is it the app that shows us what stores that we have the discounts from?
You can find that on the app, but you can also go to Save10.com, and about halfway down the page, you can actually plug in a zip code or type in a city, and it'll show you the stores in that area right now. You don't even have to have the app on your phone to see that. Now, to take advantage of them, you're going to have the app on your phone. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me tell you this too. Right, we went from we built the whole group of we built an organic growth of stores to about 1,850. Okay, then we added from 1,850, went from there to over 200,000. Right, overnight, basically. Well, actually, it's over a few seconds. Right, 1 second it wasn't there, and next second it was. So all of a sudden it just happened. So as a 1-year-old company, can I tell you a little hint here? Don't be frustrated or discouraged if you happen to go in and the 17-year-old girl who just got her job yesterday doesn't know what Save10 is. In fact, a lot of these merchants, some of them haven't even heard of Save10 yet. They're on our app. They're giving our members discounts, but don't let that frustrate you. Okay? We've had, I've not had an issue yet, but we have had some people say, well, they didn't quite understand what it was. Not a big deal. We're building into that. You know, I told the very first people a year ago in 2015, we were in May, before the app even came out, I said, you guys are in a great opportunity because you're at the ground floor of something. Has anybody ever said, if I could have been in when that happened? Anybody? If I just would have bought Walmart stock when Walmart first came out, or if I would have bought Apple stock, or if I would have been in Amway when it first started, I'd be killing it now. Well, here's your shot, right? But I told people, part of that opportunity comes with a little bit of baggage. We're a 1-year-old company. Then we were a 1-month-old company. And I told them, if you're expecting to wait till everything's perfect, if you want to get into something that's perfect, come back to this opportunity meeting about 5 years from now, and I'll tell you when you can come back when it'll be perfect, because it won't even be perfect then. But especially in this first year, we're not perfect. We're going to have a few bumps and bruises here. I want you to keep it in perspective, though. If you use your app, you will save. At the ones, Papa John's Pizza, I'll just say it, we save $10, almost $10 every time we use it there. If you use the app, you'll save your money. So that's what your risk is. I told people in some of the small towns before we had merchants there, I said, listen, you're talking about $12 a month investment to be in business for yourself if you can't even save money here. And I had a business owner said, $12 a month? A business license is $250 a year from my other business. It's nothing. I said, let's build this. So that's what I'm telling you right now. Ground floor opportunity, but it's going to come with a few bumps. Just be willing to work with us through them. We've worked through some bumps. We will have some between now and June of next year. Guarantee you we will. We'll work through them.
You have something.
Yeah, Mary Jane.
It's easy to look at this and then say, okay, it is a brand new company, and there's a lot of us in the room that started in the very beginning. There's a lot of you that have joined us over this last 11 months. My advice to you is if you decide to take this opportunity and you put the app on your phone, don't wait after that. Don't wait to go out and save money. Like the very day you download this app, you need to go to some merchant on here, even if you just go to Sonic, and get a free Sonic burger with your Sonic burger and take it home to your kids. You know, just don't wait. And do not wait until the right time to talk to your brother or your best friend or the person that sits next to you at work. Everybody needs this. Don't talk yourself out of sharing this with someone because you're afraid that they're going to not want to hear about it or they're going to think it's a thing or whatever. Just don't wait. Tell somebody.
Exactly.
You know, because there's people in this room, and myself included, and Mike shared some stories. There are people in this room who have struck up a conversation with a total stranger in a public place in the most random ways, and in 10 minutes or less have them putting this app on their phone. Everybody wants this. Don't wait. Don't wait to talk about it. Don't wait for the next meeting. Don't wait for the training. Get with the person that brings you in. Your sponsor will help you. It's simple. There's not really any hard questions. So don't wait.
That's
don't
it.
Be afraid to ask.
Yeah, don't wait. That gets back to that qualification of the dream. If your dream allows you to wait, you need to get that dream a little bigger. There were people back in June last year when there was a handful of stores in a very limited market that actually set up their business to earn them several $100s a month back then. What's your opportunity right now? And again, Mary Jane's right. We're talking about the training platform coming in about a month. We're talking about training people to do social media correctly. We're talking about all kinds of stuff coming. And I've heard people out of their mouth say, you know what, I think it's going to be good then. I'll sit back and wait till June. I'll wait till July. I'll wait till August. Don't wait. For a fact, there's people in this room who didn't get into one group because they wait, and they didn't have the people in their group because they waited to share it with them. That's happened already. First week we had it, we had people walking through the door saying, dang, I should have called him. I was saying that. I didn't think to call him. What you got, Roy?
You know, in the past 2 weeks, I've been shocked how people have responded. Just sharing it with them. Literally, we're married to just talk to people. I met my 87-year-old mother and my nephew in Arkadelphia Saturday for lunch, and walked into the restaurant. The one we were going to go into was on Save10, but they were remodeling, so it was close. So we walked into another one, and the guy that was going to seat us said, "Are you the manager?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, let me show something to you." And my mother and my nephew went to sit down, and before I could sit down, I had signed him up as a merchant.
That's awesome.
Less than 2 minutes, he said, "Dude, really?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Put me in it." And I was in shorts and a ball hat and a nasty old shirt. I said, "Let me go out to the car and get my card."
Awesome.
So what they're saying, I know it was hard for me, been there, but I'm telling you, just talk to people.
Yeah.
The more people I've talked to last week, they've been salivating trying to get it out of my hand.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm just telling you, just talk to people.
People need stuff. I know they do.
Well, the other thing that I say to you a lot is look at your app before you go into a store.
Yeah.
Because there's so many places that you can go into that they're on the app, but if you don't know, if you don't look, you won't go there.
Yeah, there was one on whatever day that was we were going to lunch, Lulu's, right? Lulu's over on Bowman Curve. Had no idea they were even on. Renee said, "Yeah, they're on." Oh, well, let's go over there. Had a sticker on the door and everything. Didn't even know it. So anyway. Guy, that's all. Oh, yeah, Robert.
I have one thing. I think being your own testimony, going out there using it and posting it. I'm getting my most feedback from that. I mean, all places are meeting, I'm showing the savings. And as soon as I put it out there, it's like, where you at? How do I get to be part of that? So
That's it, man.
that's a positive thing, right?
That's a real positive thing. Don't be embarrassed to do that, because nobody's embarrassed to send you Candy Crush or whatever that thing I get. You're embarrassed to send you that, right? So share the Save 10 thing. So, guys, it's almost 8. I'll hang around as long as anybody needs to hang around. I didn't even talk about. We talked about an associate. We talked about a customer. Didn't even talk about a director. So I need to get that into our presentation, because that's the next level up. Allows more stuff. But if you have questions about any of it, come see me. So thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it very much.